Back on Inside Tennessee with my colleague John North and two candidates for Knox County Sheriff who have both held that position. John?
Gentlemen, let's shift to a topic that both of you have addressed and had to confront. Sheriff Spangler, we've talked to you about the homeless. Sheriff Jones, you've raised it several times at political meetings, I know. And that is, what do we do about the homeless and the fact that they have spread further out of the center city? So I guess I wonder this, and Sheriff Jones, I'll start with you. Is it a law enforcement issue? And if it is, what do you do about it in terms of law enforcement?
It absolutely is a law enforcement issue. Letting the homeless build permanent, temporary housing underneath bridges and in the woods and by creeks and railroads, it is not what we need to be doing. The places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, those places didn't spring up overnight. When I was sheriff, we had inmates and we had officers that went out and systematically removed these campsites. There are places for these individuals. We have to be compassionate. We know that 90% of these people are mentally ill, but living under a bridge or by a railroad track or by a creek is a disservice to them, and it's also a disservice to the members in the community. It's one of the most major things that I have people talk to me about when I knock on doors is the homeless population that is spread into Knox County. We have places downtown where services are offered, and that's where these people need to be located for their own benefit. And again, I would say we have to be compassionate, but when you let people build permanent temporary housing in the community, it leads to many other criminal activities. And it has to be a law enforcement activity because they still understand the authority of law enforcement. If you were to send a maintenance worker from the city of Knoxville or from Knox County Public Works out to help tear down a homeless camp, then you're going to have to send law enforcement anyway because they're not going to follow those instructions.
So Sheriff Spangler, you've heard what he said. Is there more you should be doing?
No, I think we're doing what we can do. And just like I had said before as well, it's not just a law enforcement problem, which it is part of our problem. It's also a community problem. And that's why I've reached out to my brother, who's over the CEO with Volunteer Ministries. And, you know, it's trying to get people into those areas and those facilities. When they're full, you can't get them in there. And that's part of the issue. But what we've done and have been doing, not as much as we'd like, just because of the numbers, not only the numbers that we have as far as law enforcement, but also our workers who are in the jail, those numbers are down. We are still going out and cleaning up some of these places. And what we do, the patrol officers are out here looking for those areas. And they also go into those camps and they run those individuals. They do a background check. If they have a warrant on them, then unfortunately that's where they're going. They're going to our facility. But we continue to do that, and we'll do it just like any time that we get a complaint on it. We follow up on it, and we make sure that we go out there and look at the area, and we go out there and check it. And if those people do, as I said, have a warrant, then we will take proper action. And we will also advise them that you're trespassing if it's on private property to those individuals and they've been trespassed. And then we give them a certain period of time to get out of there. And if they're not, then we start cleaning it up.
Along those lines, to both of you, quickly, do you support the co-responder program? Again, having a mental health expert travel along with an officer like we've seen in the police department in Knoxville. Would you support that program in Knox County and expanding an effort like that? Sheriff Spangler, to you first.
No, I don't think as of right now, no. And the reason I say that, that's another person that officer has to keep an eye on if they get out on that call. I think we have the resources right now to be able to call for Helen Ross McNabb, Child Health Services. All those entities right now are available 24 hours. And I think that's where we reach out to those people and make sure that we have those entities available.
Former Sheriff Jones, your perspective on the co-responder program.
I agree with the person riding with the police officer. That only creates problems and safety issues. But I understood that there is a program as a co-responder where the co-responders are available driving around, and if they're needed, they're called and they respond. I would be for that. We had that some time ago that we call mobile crisis. Sometimes it was an issue about getting people there, having people respond. But if there's someone on duty ready to respond immediately to those types of crises, I would certainly be for that. Law enforcement officers don't receive a lot of training on the mentally ill. And with the numbers of the mentally ill people we deal with today, certainly someone with that experience and that expertise would be valuable to have alongside of the officer.
We only have a minute left. Sheriff Jones, I want to stick with you. 287G, immigration program, officers in your department trained to act alongside ICE enforcement for immigration. There have been a lot of talk about that program. Is that something you still support, even though there are a minute number of people that you've said it impacts?
I do still support that. And it does impact a minute number of people. It only impacts the baddest of the bad. There have been some discrepancies talked about that the reason people get arrested for a DUI or a driving violation, that they're being deported because of that. What happens is that arrest triggers the background check to see if these individuals do need to be here or have been deported before, different things that they've had in their background, which may lead to them being deported, but not just because they were arrested for DUI or a traffic violation. That's not what's happening.
Sheriff Spangler, quickly to you.
Yes, it's just like it's like our state law. Any charge that a person is charged with and arrested with, we have to identify them, whether they live here in the States or wherever they live. And then we find out if they're not from this country, then that's when the 287G kicks in, is to be able to look further into their background. And if they're wanted out of another country or another state, that's how we find out. But if you're charged with a crime, we have to know who you are. And if you can't prove who you are, then obviously it's just like anybody else that's wanted for a murder in the States. You're going to stay in the jail until we find out who you are, and then we're going to do an in-depth background on you.
Sheriff Spangler and former Sheriff Jones, we appreciate the conversation. Good luck to both of you in this race, and we'll look forward to having you back.